Hi everyone, welcome back to Gender Mix. My name's Carrie, and I've been terrible at getting weekly uploads up for the past couple of months. I know, I apologize. I kind of warned you that was probably going to be a thing for the near future, but hopefully not indefinitely. Life is great. I'm busy. I've been traveling quite a bit for what my life is, so like that's fun, to new places, and hence I have not had much spare time to make and then edit and upload videos. So this video was originally planned to be my 6-month on low dose tea update. I will be 7 months on my low dose of tea in like a week, so this is more like 6.5, almost 7-month update, but that's fine. It's just kind of a disclaimer. Anytime that myself or anyone is talking about like hormones and their changes, remember that everyone's body's different, everyone processes hormones differently. You could be on the exact same dose as me for the exact same amount of time and have completely different experiences, and that's okay. Like, work with your medical professional, doctor, nurse practitioner, whomever you're working with, but it's okay that if they're different. That said, when I say I am on a low dose of tea, I do injections, intramuscular. I do mine on my thigh because that seems like the easiest way to do it. I am on 0.25, and I always mix up the combination of letters like ml ng or ng ml or something like that. It's a little syringe. It's 0.25 that I draw and jab into my thigh. A more standard dose is typically around 0.5 of that. However, again, it's different for everyone. What is a low dose for me might be a high or too low of a dose for other people. So again, medical professionals, yada yada, but that's just what I'm doing with my life right now. It changes just going from like head to toe, I guess. I should have paid attention to my hairline. Like, I've had a pretty similar hairline. Like, I do have this weird widow's peak, but like this jutting, I have had as long as I have been cutting my hair short enough to notice it. My eyebrows are a bit thicker, and I always point that out because I've made comments before about how people aren't looking specifically at your eyebrows, but it is a change that some people transitioning look for, so there's that. My face shape is squaring up a bit. Interestingly, like, I made a video and I talked about how I've always looked like my brother growing up, and I wondered if I would look more like my brother. And I somehow like took my dad out of the equation of that because my brother and I have different dads. So my face shape is turning into more of my dad's face shape, which makes sense. It didn't occur to me because I've never looked like my dad at all before. And I still don't very much, but like it's squaring up a bit. I still don't have a jawline. I probably never will, and I'll probably always be super disappointed about that, and that's okay. I do have a teeny bit of facial hair. I have the advantage of, because I don't want facial hair really, it comes in super light and super sparse still at this point. I can get away with going like 2 weeks without shaving, and it's like barely noticeable to anyone who's not really looking. I do start to get, like, I call it the middle school boy mustache. Even that, like, at 2 weeks, it's like kind of noticeable to other people. And I've started to get, like, I have a little patch of darker beard hair that just comes in like right here, and the rest of it is really blonde. So I can get away without shaving too often. It hasn't become an inconvenience yet. And then there is the part of me that's like, well, it would at least square at my jawline, but I still don't really want it. So for me, that's great. A lot of people really want that facial hair, so who knows what your experience will be, not me. Like, first video I made about changes, I talked about my shoulders getting a bit broader. I don't think they've changed much. I don't think my muscle, oh, well, you probably can't see it on the camera, but because it's just my phone camera. Like, I don't really like this part of my arm. Like, my back muscles are still very like cis female looking, which I would love to have any muscles back there, but at least the shape, even if it's not gonna be very muscly like this shape, I would like to be more like traditionally cis male, masculine, whatever. I forgot that happy trails exist, which is weird because I really like them. I started to get a little bit of one, just like a nice in-between, because I don't really want all the body hair, but I don't mind a subtle happy trail. So that's just started like 2 months ago maybe. I think I mentioned this before, but I'm at this point where my body weight has started to shift to like because I'm a little chubby, so I've started to shift to the way cis men like have, like, if they're chubby or fatter people, like they kind of have that like just protruding stomach, like it's just nothing in their stomach. So part of my fat has shifted to that. but the part on my hips is freaking still on my hips. So I have like through here, I can like physically see where this has slimmed down like in a line like this. But it's frustrating, one, because like I would prefer to not have the hips, but I'm realistic. Like I have like my hip bones are still exist. That's not changing. So if I could be a little bit less hippie, I'd be happy. And I'm chubbier, and so that's whatever. But because I have the fat in both places, like in the stomach and the hips, it is making a lot of my like button down shirts, but like all of my pants fit really bizarrely, or like not at all, even though like 2 months ago they fit perfect or were like too big. And my like amount of weight has not changed. The location has shifted only part way. I didn't expect to see any changes there yet, honestly, because it is a lower dose. It's usually a late change. Again, back to my dad, he totally had that stomach that he's very strong, but just had like the layers of Germanic Viking fat over top of it, which is apparently what my body is doing. So there's that. Oh, I did want to mention, in addition to being on my testosterone, I'm on a progesterone, most importantly for me, as a form of birth control, which I mentioned a long time ago when I was investigating starting tea, like because no one really talks about birth control for birth control purposes on tea that I hear. So that is a non-estrogen form of birth control. That's why I take it. However, in conjunction with my tea, even though my tea is low dose, my menstrual cycle stopped. Like I had some like a little bit of spotting my first month on both, and then that it's been gone since. And a lot of people, it takes like 2 or 3 or 4 months to cycle through. Mine was gone like that, and I don't know why, but that's been awesome. And I don't have to think about it, but then when I stop and think about like, am I gonna stay on tea or go off anytime soon? Like that is a huge, huge, huge benefit to me, is to not even have to think about that being something that exists. But yeah, so that's, I guess like mood changes, whatever. I still haven't noticed anything, and I haven't had other people tell me that they notice anything specifically different. My communication style, I'm really good at softening messages, but like that's kind of a skill I've developed over the years. But in general, my communication style, I think, is always been more like direct and traditionally masculine. Like I absolutely don't believe communication styles are actually male or female, just that we're socialized certain ways. So I haven't had anyone say like, wow, you've been like a jerk or more or less this since being on tea. So if I have been, no one has told me, but I haven't noticed anything big. I don't really cry, but I didn't really cry before, so I have no good measure of if that's a thing. Yeah, so like mood. I'm generally happier. Like I'm gonna back. I was always a happy person. I got top surgery, and like people could see in photos who had no idea even about the surgery, like they would comment on I just looked really happy, and like that started it. And then being on tea, I've been really happy, and I think because I wasn't sure, and even now I'm kind of like, if I suddenly lost access to it, it wouldn't be terrible. I would not be distraught. I'd be disappointed, but not distraught. But I like being on it. Oh, my voice, you can hear my voice. This is what my voice sounds like. It does crack sometimes, and it's hilarious. And remember, I work in a high school, so it's like myself and the 9th grade boys are all going through puberty together sometimes, and that's fine. It's all good. And I will say my nurse practitioner that I get my tea from had mentioned that she has some other older people who are like doing a more slow progression, and then she has older like adult folks, not older, but like adults who are on like a standard fast dose, but also like some teens that she works with. And she said she noticed my voice right away and had told me that the people she has that go slow, she says she really likes how your voice slowly develops and it gets a really nice sound to it. Which makes sense, but I've also I met a kid who was probably like 16 at the time, trans kid, who had like he's trans boy, amazingly deep voice because he started tea at a much younger age and had puberty blockers and whatnot, I think. So some people will really like that super deep voice, some people want more of a in-between. Again, it's gonna vary anyways. A lot of people are concerned if they're singers, but this is what my voice is sounding like at almost 7 months. Am I leaving anything else out? Talked about like mood, voice, physical stuff. I don't know. I have a checkup thing coming this month, and hopefully more labs because I have to reschedule those, and they wouldn't let me reschedule till my visit, which made no sense since it was already scheduled. But that's the hassle of getting care is another topic. And I go to a really great like clinic type place, and my person is great, but she is so popular, and there were like 3 hugely popular people for trans people to go to in Columbus, one of whom either retired or moved out of the state or something recently or is about to. And so the person I go to is one of the other 2, and she was already really hard to see, and like the demand is just really high because there aren't a lot of experts, and there are people who do it but they're not good at it. So I'm gonna go see you and pay you money, I want you to be good at it. So there's that, but in general it's great. I haven't had any real issues at work. Like I keep saying, I need to make a video about like my coworkers this year are much worse at pronouns than my coworkers last year. And they're not like, they're pretty good at using like the mix instead of like Mr. or Miss. They catch themselves sometimes, they try, but like that's a different experience altogether. Sorry, my phone camera just kind of did something weird, and also you just heard my voice crack. Anyways, it will be interesting to see like long term if I end up just staying on T. There was a part of me that really thought by this point in the process I'd be like, I'm good, I am starting to get changes I don't want, and that's not happening. And I don't know if it's like a weird coincidence. I mean, them and my family are not like overly hairy, so they're also like mostly deceased, so I can't just ask them if you're wondering why I haven't, because they're all deceased. But like if it just took them a long time to grow like facial hair in general, and that's working to my advantage. But like at this moment in time, I'm like, oh, I could see myself being on T like indefinitely, maybe not for the rest of my life, but probably for like years at this point. And then there are other days where, like I said, if I suddenly couldn't access it, it would be terrible, but it wouldn't be as devastating to me as I know it would be to a lot of other trans people to not have access to their hormones. And then we're getting into political stuff that I also need to be talking about, so hopefully my next videos will be like this. Is if you're interested in transition stuff, I realize this stuff is useful. If you're either not transitioning or just want to talk about other stuff like how being non-binary and an adult in my daily life affects me, then like, this video is probably like whatever. But we have some political stuff to talk about. I'm doing a talk next month at a conference about trans kids in school, for example, and I haven't really written it. Like I have the outline done. I've had the outline done for months, and I keep waiting because legal stuff keeps changing. Like what's going through the courts is pretty consistent, really, like what the courts are actually doing and ruling in favor of trans kids like in bathrooms and stuff. My presentation is looking at beyond bathrooms. However, we just had guidelines come out that like reverse the Obama administration guidelines, but they're also not in line with legal precedent. So not at all related to this video, but like that's the kind of stuff that I'm like trying to dig into. And I said before, like, oh, I want to make these back to school videos, and I said, oh, let me wait and get this information together better. But I feel like the information changes, or like more information comes out. So like it's delayed, but it's that I'm not usually a perfectionist, but I just want the stuff to be right. And like if you watch this video 2 years from now, I want it to like make sense what I'm talking about and not be completely crazy. But okay, I'm way off topic. So those are changes that I myself have experienced. Almost 7 months on a low dose of tea. Of course, you can ask me questions. My social media is below. You can contact me there. Leave something in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions, transition or non-related. It could be about like having a job and being non-binary. I am not technically like legally protected at my job, and so like there's that kind of stuff. It could be about day-to-day life. It could be like, why am I wearing a University of Wyoming shirt? Because no, I did not attend there. But that's it. It's a long video, so have a fantastic week, and hopefully I will talk to you very, very, very soon. Bye.